I encountered people who armed me with the knowledge and skills I needed to be effective. I'd like to tell you about these people, some of the important lessons that I learned from them, and I'd like to start in a place that many of us probably start, and that is at home, as Lou told you, with my parents. You see, I was very fortunate in my lifetime, fortunate because I come from a fairly large family of 6 brothers and a sister, and my parents did have priorities for me, and that first priority was for all of us to always trust in God. Second was for all of us to get an education, a college education, and third one was for all of us to participate in athletics. They wanted to trust God first because they said if God's in control of your life, then He can help you in every situation that you might find yourself in. And I wholeheartedly believe that. Accepted Christ in my life when I was 13 years old, and He's been the focal point ever since. And secondly, they wanted us to have an education, a college education. And they wanted us to have a college education because that was something that they didn't get. And they had a dream. Their dream was for all 8 of their kids to graduate from college. And I'm very happy to say that that was a dream come true for them because all 8 of us did graduate from college. And when my mother and father were living, they were very, very proud of that fact. And that third priority was for all of us to participate in athletics. And they wanted us to participate in athletics because they felt that athletics, it kind of rounds a person out. It teaches you a lot of valuable, lifelong lessons, things such as the will to win, things such as coping with pressure, things such as getting along in a team situation, all of which are very, very important. But what they like most about athletics, and especially about a game like football, is that when you get involved in a game like football, you learn the real valuable lesson of how to get up once you get knocked down. And believe me, folks, that's a lesson that we can all benefit from because you all know as well as I do that things don't always go the way that we like them to go. We have tough times, we have adversity, and we have setbacks in our lives. And in order for us to be successful, we've got to be able to deal with those tough times and setbacks. We've got to be able to get up after being knocked down. Speaking of getting up after being knocked down, it kind of reminds me of some of the years I had when I played professional football with the Cincinnati Bengals. When I was with the Bengals, we had some good years, but we also had some pretty bad years. And in particular for me, 1978, 1979, and 1980 were very, very tough years. Because in 1978, with the Bengals, we had a record of 4-12. And in 1979, we matched that record of 4-12. And in 1980, we improved a little bit. We went 6-10. Well, you're talking about tough. I got to tell you something. It was tough walking the streets of Cincinnati with those type of records. Because everywhere you go, people would be talking about how bad the Cincinnati Bengals were. You pick up the newspaper. You try to read the sports page. There was always an editorial on how bad we were. You turn on your television late at night to catch the late night news, to catch the sports cast at the end of the news. There was always a commentary on how bad we were. Even when you jump in your car, you turn on your radio, you want to listen to some of the local sports talk shows. We were always a hot topic of conversation. I can remember one evening driving home from practice in Cincinnati, and I turned on the radio, listened to this particular sports talk show, and on this sports talk show, a caller called in. And the caller who called in, he's a little bit upset with us because we had just lost a game against the Washington Redskins that he thought we should have won. So he called in, he told the host of the show, he said, you know what? Those Cincinnati Bengals are absolutely horrible. He said, those guys are pitiful. They're so bad, they don't even deserve to be called the Cincinnati Bengals. He said, they're so bad, they ought to change their names. He said, you know what they ought to be called? He said, they ought to be called the Cincinnati Possums. He said, we played dead at home and got killed on the road. I mean, it was just that bad. It was just that bad. But fortunately, we learned the lessons you learned.